I'm Dr. Alice Hayward and I'm from the Queensland Alliance for Agriculture and Food Innovation in the Centre for Horticultural Science. So in this project we're trying to save some Australian native species that are facing extinction due to an invasive pest called myrtle rust. It's infected hundreds of Myrtaceae species, which is one of the dominant plant families in Australian ecosystems. And for a number of those species, it's actually causing them to lose competency to reproduce, and it can kill young tissues and young seedlings, and it's threatening them towards the brink of extinction. We're hoping to bring those into the lab, into our tissue culture system, and preserve those in vitro while other people here at UQ and around Australia are trying to work on the myrtle rust. The Myrtaceae family includes a lot of species you won't know about, but a lot of species you do know about. The gum trees, tea trees, native guava, and then a lot of our beautiful rainforest shrubs and small rainforest trees. So we're using a technique called cryopreservation, and it's basically the same as sperm banking or embryo banking for humans, but we're using it for plants. And plants have this amazing ability that we can actually take a little tiny shoot tip and dunk that into liquid nitrogen and store it indefinitely. Then we can use tissue culture to revive that shoot tip again and get it to multiply and reproduce and produce a whole new plant that we can put out in the wild when the environment's safe for it to go back. I'm very passionate about biodiversity loss. Biodiversity loss is a global grand challenge and a lot of it's human induced. So what we're trying to do is preserve those species that we know are at the most risk of extinction in the immediate future, to capture that biodiversity so that our ecosystems are more resilient. This project is a 4-year project, so in that time we hope to have a few PhD students coming in and developing the cryopreservation protocols that can safely conserve our most at-risk Myrtaceae species in liquid nitrogen, so that we have a bank of them that we can put in the cryobank in Mount Annan and be able to regenerate cryopreserved material, so that if in future there's an environment where we can start replanting, that we have that ability to restore. I feel like we're doing something really important here in the team and can contribute to the Australian environment and everybody in Australia who depends on our environment and the unique number of species that we have here.
Hi, I'm Chris O'Brien. I'm from the University of Queensland, QAAFI. We've got a PhD student that's working on developing tissue culture protocols and cryopreservation protocols for Gossia fragmentissa, which is we've got here in Australia, and also Gossia gonicata, which she's had to initiate the cultures into tissue culture before she can develop the cryopreservation protocols. We've also got another species here, the Caspasparum, and it's also an endangered species which is affected by myrtle rust. So we're looking at developing cryopreservation protocols for these 3 plant species here that we've got in tissue culture to conserve the germplasm. These species here, especially gonicata, are critically endangered species, so they could be extinct if we don't intervene and try and save the germplasm. So it's quite critical work. The idea is if we can cryopreserve these and then obviously get a diverse germplasm and then multiply these up in tissue culture, we can re-establish some of these trees back into the wild.